Hello. Today we are going to be working with metals, nonmetals, and metalloids. We are going to review the properties of metals, nonmetals, and metalloids, which is something that you should have learned already in sixth grade. And we are going to implement this with the periodic table, learning where metals, nonmetals, and metalloids are found on the periodic table. So let's get started. Metal, nonmetal, or metalloid. If something is shiny, which means that it has high luster. It's malleable, meaning that you can bend it. It's ductile, which means you can stretch it into a wire. And it is a good conductor of electricity. Would it be a metal, nonmetal, or metalloid? If you said metal, you are correct. Metals are found on the left side of the periodic table. And as you can see, metals are in blue on this periodic table. Metal, nonmetal, or metalloid. If it has low luster, it's a semiconductor, which means it can conduct electricity under certain conditions, but not very well. And it has properties of both metals and nonmetals. Metalloids. They are found along the zigzag line on the periodic table. Every periodic table has a zigzag line, and this is what helps you identify where the metalloids are. Metal, nonmetal, or metalloid. Dull, which means it's not shiny. Brittle, which means that it breaks apart when you try to bend it. And it's a poor conductor. It does not conduct electricity well at all. And most of the times it won't conduct electricity at all. Nonmetals. These are found on the right side of the periodic table. There is one element on the left side of the periodic table, which is hydrogen, that is also a nonmetal. We are now going to move to the next part of our assignment. In class, you should have received two pieces of paper. You should have received a periodic table, and you should have also received a foldable. The first thing that we're going to do is put our periodic table into our notebook. Your periodic table is going to be put into the back of your notebook. So if you turn to the back of your notebook, when you open it, go ahead and glue or tape the periodic table into the back of your notebook. Your periodic table is not color coded. If you choose to color code it based on metals, nonmetals, and metalloids, you can go ahead and do so. You do not have to color code your periodic table. You should learn to be able to identify where metals, nonmetals, and metalloids are without having a color coded copy. The other thing to make sure is do not color in the boxes too darkly so that you cannot read the information any longer. So if you do choose to color code, make sure you do it in pencil color or do it with colors that are very light so that you can still read the information. Once you have finished, go ahead and turn to the page number that is assigned to you to work on today. If you forgot what page number you are supposed to be working on, go ahead and look at eChalk to make sure you are working on the correct page. At the top of this page, you can go ahead and put the title Periodic Table Foldable. You will go ahead and take the sheet that was given to you and fold it in half so that you can see the front part as shown. Once you do that, you need to take a pair of scissors and cut along the lines. Once you cut along the lines, you should have 3 different flaps that you will be able to open up. We are going to begin with working with the metals. Once again, we said that metals were the elements that are found on the left side of the periodic table. The properties of metal consist of luster, meaning they're shiny. They're malleable, which means that you can bend them. They're ductile, which means you can stretch them into a wire, and they are good conductors of electricity. 2 examples of metals are sodium and gold. Metalloids. These are the elements that are found along the zigzag line. They have properties of both metals and nonmetals. They are semiconductors and they have low luster. Two examples of metalloids are boron and silicon. Nonmetals are found on the right side of the periodic table, with the exception of hydrogen, which is found over here. Nonmetals are dull, which means that they are not shiny. They are brittle, which means they break apart easily when you try to bend them. And they are poor conductors or non-conductors of electricity. Two examples would be oxygen and helium. Once you have finished filling in your information on the foldable, you can go ahead and glue the back of the foldable down to this page. Do not worry about the information on the back of the foldable. Go ahead and put some glue on it and stick it down to this page. Make sure that you have the title Periodic Table Foldable, and you are complete with today's lesson. Good job.